So Eddie Hearn, we're in Manhattan.
This IFL?
Yeah, this is for IFL.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
You're a lot better looking than Coogan.
Oh, cheers, mate. In association with MTK Global.
I thought I'd remind you of that because you didn't start it that way.
Yeah, well, they're not paying me enough to say it, really. We're in Manhattan, as you can see, over your shoulder.
I've done 4 hours of interviews, and we're now in the Uber on the way to JFK. I can't promise you the greatest interview of all time, but we have just finished an epic launch of Matchroom Boxing USA with Perform and the platform Dazn for the biggest deal in British boxing history. $1 billion.
The idea was obviously to get you sat down up there, nice backdrop.
Yeah.
You spent the
Where
money
were
and
you?
it was a beautiful place.
Were you just eating the canopies?
I was just eating and drinking. No, to be fair, I was doing the presser for Coogan, but
Okay.
yeah, you were doing interviews with everyone. It was packed in there.
Yeah.
How do you think it went?
It went really well. I mean, the response has been great. And yeah, there's been a little bit of leakage of this over the last few days. But I just wanted everybody to see the numbers, hear the numbers, and understand how big this deal is, how real it is. Obviously, a major appointment for Perform and Dazn in John Skipper, former president of ESPN, now joining the venture. And it's exciting times. You know, I feel like this is going to be a platform. I see myself as a boxing fan. This is going to be a platform for boxing fans created by a fight fan. So for the US guys, you have 16 live events across America, and we have budgets bigger than HBO and Showtime put together. They're also going to show all our UK shows as well. Another big announcement coming for some more content soon. For the UK fans on Sky, what a touch you've had, because you're going to get all 16 shows live on Sky Sports as well. So everyone's a winner. Isn't that right, Drive? Okay.
Where did the deal come from? Because a lot of people never heard of Dazn, certainly in England.
No, I mean, Dazn is obviously a very successful platform in the territories that it's operating in at the moment. So huge in Japan. You know, our #1 sports broadcaster by far. Already well over 1 million subscribers, and they haven't long launched. Germany, Canada. These are markets where Dazn has been buying our content for some time. We've been watching the numbers. We've been seeing what they've been spending with us. They've decided to launch in the US. They look at other sports where the rights might not be available for 6 months, 12 months, 18 months. And praise the Lord, they looked at boxing and said, we believe that boxing would be a great sport for us to acquire. And who better to put on the shows than Matchroom Boxing? And when I got that phone call, it was like popcorn in my pants. And we're here. And really, it's like, one of the attractions to this deal was that it's a blank canvas in terms of the production, the commentary team, the presentation team. We can build it from scratch. We can build it for the fans. So it's not a case of coming on at 10 p.m. because there's a film on before and you can only watch 1 or 2 fights. We want to come on at 6 p.m, watch the entire card. There's no obstruction through linear programming. So the shoulder programming is going to be outstanding. We're going to have build-up shows around the shows. The content's going to be absolutely spot on. And I really believe with the money that we have, we can build a stable of fighters that will be unrivaled in world boxing, and we can create some incredible nights of boxing in the US.
At what point did it become apparent they had $1 billion to be spending on this?
They looked at their money and the money they were prepared to invest into boxing, but they didn't want to go into boxing and just sort of be another Showtime or HBO. They wanted to give us the opportunity to put on better shows than them. We have the money to do that now. Now it's my job. So it's all over to me. You know, I've sold them the dream in that respect. I believe we're going to build the home of boxing in the US. I've got to deliver, and I've got to sign fighters. One of the reasons I wanted to do that today, Dazn aren't ready to launch. They wanted their big events at the end of June. But I said, we have to get this news out there. I'm talking to so many fighters. I can't keep this a secret anymore. Now it's out, and now the recruitment process begins.
I did a bit of calculations, and it works out at something like you've got a budget, an average of £5.7 million per show. Mm-hmm. Where's that money going to go?
Well, to fighters. I mean, that's the great thing
That's
about...
an incredible amount of money per show.
But don't forget as well, I mean, the aim here is to have 12 huge fight nights and 4 absolute monsters. So the pay-per-view model in the US is completely flawed because it's $99 a pay-per-view, or sometimes $69 for the smaller ones. So we're going to eradicate that by putting on pay-per-view style nights as part of the subscription. But the key is that £5.7 million a show will that can be $15 million for one show. That can be $3 million for another show. Do you understand? So obviously those 4 flagship events will be higher, right? Yeah, will cost more. But again, it's the control that we have with Perform to manage this budget effectively to put on these mega nights. So if we wanted to, like, I'll give you an example. So like of some pay-per-views in recent times, Kovalev against Ward 1 and 2. That's one of our big shows, not a pay-per-view show on Dazn.
Really?
Golovkin against Jacobs. Don't forget these fights. If they're doing 100,000 pay-per-view buys, that's generating what, $5 million? No, $3 million. Well, that's no problem for us. We can give these big fights guaranteed rights fees, far more significant than HBO or Showtime can. So it's open season for fighters, and any world-class fighter that doesn't have a promotional contract needs to get on the phone ASAP. And we're talking to a lot of them at the moment.
Who's on the wish list?
Yeah, I've had that question a lot. I mean, look, we only want to deal with fighters that are out of promotional contract or don't have one.
But
so,
a lot of the Al Heyman guys are.
So if you're talking about the wish list, Deontay Wilder, Mikey Garcia, Adrian Broner, the Charlo brothers, Errol Spence, Keith Thurman, any of those guys, any world-class fighter that doesn't have a promotional contract is a target for us.
Where does Anthony Joshua fit into this? I asked the same question to Simon Denyer, and he said he'd love to see him on DAZN and it become his home over here. Where does he fit into it? Because
he's not part of the deal, but they are very keen for him to be on the platform, and they have more money than anybody else. So, but until we decide his next fight, we won't be making a decision on the US partner. So they're definitely a player. He's out of contract with his US partner. Of course, Showtime showed him a lot of investment, and we have to listen to what they've got to say as well. But DAZN are a player for sure.
Would that, if he was to box over here and on DAZN, would that money come out of the billion, or would it be a separate ring-fenced amount for Anthony Joshua? How would that? Well,
I guess it would come out of the billion, but these guys have very deep pockets. So if there has to be an additional funding, now don't forget the background to this business, Access Industries, Len Blavatnik. I mean, this is a guy who owns Warner Music, owns a major shareholding in Spotify. I think was the principal investor into Beats. This is not a game to him. He's seriously behind this. And don't forget, this is a sports platform. This is not a boxing platform. Boxing's just their first investment in terms of the content. Wait to see this thing fly. But I think great news for fight fans in the US, and for us, it's like a dream scenario it's like fantasy boxing. I've got this huge pot of money to go out and acquire fighters, sign fighters. You can see our UK fighters fighting in the States. Great news for our young fighters in the UK who can come and box in the US at any opportunity, and vice versa. So it's brilliant. I mean, it's a massive moment for our business and a historic moment for the sport.
So another part of the deal, as well as you staging shows over here, is DAZN will get Sky shows,
and vice versa.
Will they get all of them? Will they get all your
they'll
UK
get the
shows?
Saturday night fight nights,
right?
And they'll get first crack at the pay-per-views. The issue is with the pay-per-view fights. Obviously, if it was Khan versus Crawford, sometimes the deal would include the US TV. So they get the Saturday night fight nights, and I would expect the pay-per-views as well.
And in the UK, Sky Sports viewers, they'll get the DAZN
all
shows
16,
for nothing included.
Correct.
And there won't be any pay-per-view on DAZN.
No.
Was that important from them?
That's their
well?
model. Yeah, they believe, and well, listen, I believe as well. I mean, I can't say pay-per-view is a flawed model because I promote pay-per-view shows in the UK. But don't forget, it's £19.95, $25, $26. So, over here it's $99, 75 quid, or $70, 55 quid. I'd get lynched if I'd done that. And I think a regular subscription channel can eradicate the need for pay-per-view, and you will see pay-per-view style events on DAZN as part of the subscription.
A lot of people might worry that obviously 16 shows over here is a hell of a lot of work, it's a big deal. It might impact on your UK output, which is obviously the bread and butter at the moment. Do you see that being a problem? How are you going to combat?
I mean, we have a great team of people in the UK. We're setting up a great team of people in the US. We have Joshua Roy, who is head of operations at Rock Nation. He's our first recruit in terms of a US office. We're going to have 8 staff here. We've got an office set up now. I'm going to be everywhere. But you know, with me, I'm just like the sort of party piece. The hard work's done by the engine room and the team, and I'm sort of rolled out to sell it. So that's no problem. My heart and soul and family will always be in the UK, but we have a major opportunity for our business and for the sport of boxing here. So it's going to be a lot of hard work, but I'm up for it. I'm driven, I'm dedicated, I'm hungry for the hustle, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
How often do you see yourself being over here? Personally, I mean.
I think certainly every month. I'm going to be over here for a large portion of the summer as well, getting things set up. And I've been here probably 2 weeks of the last month, I suppose, but it hasn't affected anything in the UK. I'm still extremely driven. It's a great opportunity for our UK fighters. They're going to be a lot more active. They can box where they want. They can box in bigger fights for more money. Don't forget the investment that Dazn are making into our UK shows through acquiring the rights. So it means more money going into our UK shows as well, which will enable us to put on bigger fights for Saturday night fight nights.
You still have a relationship with HBO, obviously with Danny Jacobs, but do you see this as sort of the end of the conversation with HBO and Showtime, because obviously it's a deal with DAZN, it's a different broadcast?
Yeah, I'm always open to work with them, but my exclusivity is with DAZN right now.
Right.
No other platform could have given me what they have. So this is a dream opportunity, and I'm going to put every ounce of my soul in making it work for their platform.
Presumably, if Joshua Wilder, for instance, did 1 million pay-per-view buys in America, for instance, that would be more valuable.
$30 million.
That would be more valuable to Joshua and to you for it to be on one of those two on a pay-per-view show. Is that right, or is that
possibly? Unless DAZN wanted to pay $30 million
right
in rights fee, which is they're more than capable.
So they'll
of doing.
just become a bidder in that.
Can be. Yeah, can be.
Because Joshua's obviously the sort of jewel in the crown. Did you sort of keep him separate in a
we
sense?
can't. We couldn't guarantee Joshua to DAZN because we don't know what's going to happen with his fights. All we know is we're going to give DAZN the opportunity to bid for Anthony Joshua, and they're going to pay a lot of money. So he's in a great position.
Do you know well, obviously you do, but will you tell us what's going on with Joshua's contract? Obviously his contract's up this year. Do you have any
Joshua,
concern that he might go elsewhere?
No, we've got we'll be making an announcement on that soon. Joshua will be staying with us. We've got a great relationship with him, and obviously this is an important time for our business with the US deal, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him involved with DAZN as well. But we're planning his next fight, to be honest with you. The announcement will come when the fight's ready to be announced, because that's the important for us now. The rest is already dealt with.
Do you see DAZN, obviously this deal is about them breaking America, they're in Japan and Canada and a few other places. Do you see them coming to the UK eventually?
Possibly. I don't think it's an immediate focus, but I think it might be a natural progression for the business over the next few years. Right now their focus is on America. They're doing extremely well in the markets they're operating in, and I expect them to be extremely successful in the US as well.
See, we're in New York, and a lot of the talk before the Jacobs fight was about you hoping to meet with Al Heyman and Shelley Finkel about a fight with Joshua and Deontay Wilder. Was there any update whatsoever? I know you spoke at the weekend about it.
No, only really that we're talking a lot and they're responding to our questions.
They have?
Yeah.
So you sent them an email with some questions?
Yeah, they've responded, some of which was good news, some of which wasn't.
Right.
But there's stuff to be discussed on that. Joshua wants to fight in the UK. I think he feels like he owes it to the fans to do the fight in the UK. Doesn't rule out a US fight, but I think he wants me to do what I can to deliver that fight for the UK fans. But the positive that I will tell you is that we're talking and we're in regular communication, and that's good.
Do you feel like the fight at the moment would still make more money in Las Vegas?
Yes, it would, yeah. Right. But it's not, I know $5 or $10 million sounds like a lot of money, but for Joshua, it's not just about the money. I think he just feels like with everything we've built, that fight should be in the UK. And I tend to agree with him. Don't mind looking at the second fight in the US. He appreciates he might not make as much money, but potentially if we did that fight in T-Mobile, we might only get allocated 7,000 or 8,000 for British fight fans. That would be a travesty, really. So, and that's something that he is concerned about. So, talks are ongoing. There is a constant flow of communication. So, we'll see where it takes us.
Is it also about, obviously he's got 3 belts to Wilder's 1, and
it's the massive A side of the fight. So,
is it about a home advantage, do you think?
A little bit. I guess it's a case of, why should we go over there when we've built the success in Britain and for British boxing, and Joshua's earned the right to call the shots at where it is. But they've made an offer that we're interested in. We're not ignoring it. We're looking at it, and ultimately it'll be Anthony and Rob McCracken who make the decision.
Can you tell us about any of the names? Obviously, you said Wilder, Charlo brothers, Errol Spence. These are people you want. Can you tell us about anyone who you're already talking to?
Not really, because I think he'll put me in a weak position. But
yeah, at what point do you think you'll be able to announce these people?
I think we'll be signing fighters this week,
Really?
next week, the week after. Don't forget, it's not just sign the world champions. We've got to build a roster of fighters.
How many?
30.
30 just for the US?
Yeah. And I think they've got to be young fighters. They've got to be guys who are novices. They've got to be guys coming out of the amateurs, national champions, Olympic champions, guys on the fringe of world title shots. But don't forget, this isn't just a case of Matchroom acquiring fighters. This is about Matchroom producing quality fight nights for Dazn. So we don't have to have the fighters. We can work with Heyman guys, we can work with other promoters who don't have TV contracts, and put on guys that aren't necessarily with Matchroom. But ultimately, we want to build a stable as well.
And your UK guys at the moment, presumably they'll be featuring prominently on undercards and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. And sometimes you don't have the money to put together certain fights. We can make those fights over here now, but the difference is those guys in the UK won't be on away promoters cards; they'll be on our cards. So it's a great opportunity for our UK fighters who are at championship level, but also the young fighters. We're looking to bring all those guys out to Boxing America as well.
So what happens now? Obviously, it's we're in May, middle of May. You've announced a deal. DAZN launching in June. What happens between now and then? What
at that launch at the end of June? We'll be there with our fighters and our schedules.
How many do you hope to have signed up by then? The lot?
No, I would say a dozen.
Yeah.
A dozen, maybe 20 fighters. Really, the plan is to map out the schedule for September, October.
So the first fight would be
September will be the first show.
Any idea where?
No. Today there was people flying in from Vegas, people flying in from Miami, people obviously MSG, Barclays. They're all there today. Everybody wants to get paid.
And your premises are in Manhattan?
Yeah, you were there today.
Yeah. Will you be getting a little premises over there for yourself? I mean, how are you going to split it? Because presumably,
it's
you're a family man.
Hours,
but you're always in Sheffield and Leeds and wherever else.
Yeah, but listen, it's just a hustle, everyday hustle, just a graft. It's 6 hours away. Sometimes it takes me 6 hours to get home from Liverpool.
That's true. So this won't be your neighbourhood in the next sort of...
Not at the moment, no. Not this particular.
You don't fancy this bit?
Where are we, Queens or something?
Yeah, we're getting there.
Yeah, not quite, no.
Where do you reckon?
You're
a Manhattan.
I'm an Essex boy, so we'll stay there for now. But this takes us from a big British company to a global business, and it's a big moment for us.
Just one final one away from this completely. I heard that Monte Carlo will be happening again this year.
Yeah.
In November. Any idea of who we might see on that yet?
No, it's November 24th, so long time to go. But again, a show that will be live on DAZN and live on Sky with plenty of investment. So we expect plenty of quality.
And when's the Matchroom next? June the 6th?
June 6th, Your Call, which is one of the problems. I mean, look at that show at Your Call. So it's madness, but it's how big boxing's become. And then June 16 in Newcastle, already through 5,000 tickets. A massive show in Newcastle, can't wait.
Macaulay Watkins.
I thought you said it was the last question.
Macaulay Watkins, obviously.
Great fight.
Yeah. Is it? I mean, surely it won't be a big undercard because
it will be. You got Bellotti against Doyle. You got Danny Aryalusinov. You got Ted Cheeseman's in a great fight that'll be announced on Monday. You got Felix Cash. You got McGoldrick. I mean, it's madness. But that's where we're at now. As we approach the summer, everybody wants to try and get out.
Anything else you want to add?
No. I'm going to get on that plane and go straight to sleep.
How many interviews?
And I'm going to go and do the Telegraph Business Conference tomorrow as a keynote speaker for some more talking.
How many interviews do you think you've done today?
40.
Well, Eddie Hearn, thank you very much for your time.
Cheers, mate.